Guys, we are here in Seattle, Washington at the anti-3%er march here on the street of Columbia and 3rd Avenue. Things have heated up and escalated. Anyway, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe by clicking the button below. Guys, YouTube has hit us hardcore with censorship and has limited our ability to reach new viewers by taking us out of the recommended. So please go ahead and do us a favor, click that button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and keep independent media and journalism alive. We hope you enjoyed the show.
Several people were arrested after left-wing and right-wing groups clashed in Seattle outside of City Hall this afternoon.
Seattle police packed downtown as people protested against a rally outside of City Hall.
Shut down 4th Avenue. An officer served as a barrier to keep the two opposing groups separate.
Police were able to move both counter-protest groups to different areas across the street.
So we're arriving here at the protest here in Seattle, Washington, where you have two groups that are facing off against each other. You essentially have a main group which calls themselves the 3%ers or something like that. And they are like a nationalist group that are being touted by this group as being racist. You have a few different groups here that are currently situated before the protest begins. You have security here in pink, clearly visible with assault weapons. Sometimes, as you obviously all know, at protests, it's very common to have chants that's no Nazis, no KKK, no fascist USA, which is common. But if you turn the cameras right over across the street, you essentially have police in riot gear and with batons. They do have riot protective gear, and they have their bikes, which is a common thing that Seattle police use to barricade and to try to push people off. A lady here is passing out noisemakers, sort of to bother the hell out of people, and passing out whistles and different kinds of things. Gotta have some humor.
Out of the White House and out of this country.
You can't complain that you didn't get music. There's definitely music at this protest. It is definitely here. Drums, whistles, we got everything.
It's gotta be fun, you know? It's to a certain degree, this is not fun. This is f***ing stupid, but we've got to make the best of it. And I think that if everybody just blocks up, some people don't understand why people block up, get scared. And so when you bring more color and music and stuff, then I think it creates more of an inviting situation for people that might otherwise be turned off.
You know, I actually really agree. One of the things that I've mentioned to people about protests and getting support is that sometimes, on both sides, I might say, it's kind of intimidating and it's kind of scary. Now, not obviously for yourself or somebody who's a veteran, but when people are walking on all black or they have, open carry guns and they have, whether you got a bandana on that's American flag, bandana on that's black, people are covering their faces. It's not exactly welcoming. How do you feel we could actually change these kinds of things so that there's more dialogue, I would say?
Well, unfortunately, I don't give a platform to Nazis, so I'm not interested in having a dialogue with them in this setting. I think that the change happens when people are one-on-one having conversations. I'm not interested in having a dialogue with them. Some of these fascists their thinking may change over time. If they have a one-on-one relationship with somebody. On the streets, the dialogue is not going to happen. And my point is to deplatform fascism when I see it. I respect the black bloc tactic. This year I started masking up because I realized that it's becoming more and more dangerous to do this work. As it stands, we have an administration that wants to criminalize people for pushing back against fascism. I'm glad that the John Brown Gun Club is here. I feel safer that they're here.
What's really interesting about protests around the country, which you're going to find different in a place like Seattle, despite often being known as a very liberal place, has some interesting gun laws. So these are security forces, I imagine right here, some sort of a first line of defense against what they would believe to be an armed militia called the 3%. Are you guys affiliated with the group, or are you just coming to keep peace?
We're here to support.
Okay, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And they have just openly carrying weapons. Now, of course, in protests like Los Angeles, there's a strong anti-gun movement, which shows you the differences between the protests from city to city. Although I will say this, I have seen a few illegal firearms at protests in places like LA. People have flashed their guns, but usually when you're carrying a gun legally, you don't carry it in your belt hoop.
Anti-fascists are people. We start, the reason why the far right, fascists and the far right aren't necessarily the same thing, but since the Trump administration started, they're like becoming very similar. Like far right is starting to move into fascist movements, and that's been what we've been trying to prevent. And the far right, like these guys that come and they're like, fascism doesn't exist. Nazis aren't real. There's not Nazis here. There's probably a handful of Nazis over there right now, or white nationalists, and they'll deny it up and down and protect them and befriend them and be radical.
What kind of standards do we use to define someone to know if they're a Nazi?
For me, it has to do with believing America was founded and should stay a white state.
Is that white nationalism, though?
Yeah.
What's the difference between Nazism and fascism, or like with white nationalism?
Well, there's not. So white nationalism was a term by white nationalists, by Nazis. Nazis started calling themselves white nationalists to make it sound prettier, right? Because
Nazism like an actual ideology, like it was a party, a political party. So like, wouldn't there be a difference then? Because let's say somebody who just is obsessed with race.
No. So the Nazi party in Germany was a party. But the ideology, it'd be like...
What about neo-Nazis, like skinhead kind of people?
Yeah, it's an ideology. They're not a political party. But the skinheads got all the attention in the 90s. But those were just the skinheads. Skinhead is a subculture that isn't intrinsically racist.
Well, hold up. All right. So we're already getting a little bit of a tryst here. What's happening here is our contact people.
I am here today to stand up for policemen and to expose Antifa attacking our officers. Oh my God. Yep.
Same bitch as last time. Already getting in. All right, we're getting out of the street, sir. I guess this would be considered stage 2 or 3, right? When something's already happening. And it already comes on talking to the police. Let's come over right over here to the front. Come over here. Come here. I'm coming in here. Just coming in, squeezing in here. So, all right, so as you can already see, there's a couple bikes here that are on the floor. Apparently there was somewhat of an altercation of some people from the right that came over here. And this is a common tactic. There's like a phone and a shirt or something on the floor. But basically what the police do is they move in immediately using their bicycles in order to push people.
Get on this side of the line, buddy.
Excuse me?
Why don't you get behind the cops, buddy?
Excuse me,
Why don't you get behind the fucking cops?
I'm reporting, sir.
Go to your side.
I'm not on that side.
Go to your fucking side.
Please stay away from me, sir. I'm reporting. I have a national press license, and I'm standing, being very peaceful,
okay, buddy.
reporting on what's going on, okay?
Okay.
And if you're trying to intimidate me to not report peacefully on the side of the road, I don't appreciate that. Thank you. So what's happening is somebody's telling me they're getting upset that I'm reporting, but I'm just right here. And so basically what's happening is that when there's an altercation, when somebody comes over from the right to the left, the police in Seattle have cordoned off the individuals so that they cannot be so that they cannot be on the exact same side. And there's this idea that there's brutality from the police against protesters. That's a common idea that's debated on both sides, but it is something that they're saying, and it's been in the local media here in Seattle recently. Obviously, there's some animosity towards media in general inside of these cities, which I understand, but for the most part, we just need to continue to report and continue to show what's going on here in this place. There's a black bloc side over here, which is some people might. Somebody might. Do you know what happened, by the way? Sir, why are you being with animosity towards me? I'm really not a mean guy, dude. I'm like a very. You'll find that I'm a very peaceful guy, not a violent guy. Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you. You can stay with me, but as long as you don't like push me or touch me, we're good. All right, I don't care about that. All right, great. What's up, guys? It's me, Elijah. So basically what happens is right here, there is, I don't even care if there's a white thing in front of me. There's a black bloc side, and then there's the security in the yellow that they do block cameras usually, but it's not really that big of a deal. It doesn't really harm me. Sound still goes through. Yeah, but the groups, I mean, this is where tensions rise. But the intersection has been shut down. Hi. The intersection has been shut down, and it's pretty good. What we have here already, we have the anti-fascist flags, which is the staple of Antifa, the red and black colors. It's very, very interesting. And so there's basically a few different sides of the protest, which shows you the different ideologies and people that come together to protest these events. And so we'll see what happens long term. Hopefully everything stays peaceful for the most part and people continue to stay on their appropriate sides. So that's going to be really good stuff. All right, so they pointed out that there might be a weak spot up ahead. Basically, 3%ers are going to their cars and trying to exit the event. We've transferred sides. We are hanging out with Black Bloc on the streets of Seattle, heading into a police line, which is blocking us from going any further. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is where we use our bikes. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? You gotta get out. You gotta get out. That's a homeless person. A homeless person. Oh, here they come. All right, so they're throwing paper, which is really nothing. Just paper and leaves. But let's hope it doesn't escalate. All right, whoa. All right. Sorry, I'm pressed, bro. Sorry. National press. All right. All right. So up here behind me is the press up on the tower, but we don't go up on the tower. We go into the moat. We are right here in the middle of the streets now. The police presence is really strong, as you can see over here. Hey, please step off here. Please step off here. I'm not. What the fuck? You just tried to steal my guy's camera.
Go! Get the fuck
Not leaving right now, no.
Get the fuck out!
Wait.
My dad watched Glenn Beck and was brainwashed by this crap!
So you want to tell me about how you guys brainwashed my father?
Murder babies!
Get the fuck out!
Your life is such a tragedy. You have to run a 5K just to raise awareness for it.
Go!
Yes, okay, great.
Go! Get the fuck out!
I'm not leaving right now.